What's up, everybody? Michael Silva here to do technical analysis on Tesla. Graham Stephan just came out with a new video, Tesla in the S&P 500, $7,000 price target. Mind blown. He added some great informative fundamentals in there, but then added a quick little quip on technical charts.
And don't worry, this is not going to be a whole bunch of anecdotes just pointing to a Tesla stock chart with imaginary chart lines just projecting where it's going to be one day. Instead,
it's going to be a bunch of anecdotes pointing to numerous news headlines and articles provided by different sources with unchecked backgrounds projecting where the price of Tesla might be. I'm only kidding, Graham. I too also like posting news articles and headlines. Like this one. 10,000 day traders an hour are buying Tesla shares. Almost 40,000 Robinhood accounts added shares of the automaker during a single 4-hour span today, on Monday. I'm over here on robintrack.net, and as you can see, this huge bump up from 647 up to the close of business, how many different users got into ticker symbol TSLA. Now, what I find interesting is they were getting in as the price was heading down. Now, this is very important to point out, and that is why I want to do some technical analysis on this chart. Let's get into it. All right, so we are here on the daily time frame for ticker symbol TSLA. Going to do some technical analysis here and look at some support, resistance. Nothing too crazy, to be quite honest. Right now, what I got going on is the Bollinger Bands, and when things go over and extend outside of the Bollinger Bands, you typically see eventually some sort of retracement take place. And Tesla has been outside of the Bollinger Bands for quite some time. Today alone, huge gap up and a move to about 1,800 before it got rejected and the price started crumbling down. Now, what I want to point out on the daily chart before we get into the 30-minute time frame is this candlestick variation pattern. Now, this is what's known as a dark cloud variation. Ultimately, it would have been nicer to have this candle close about halfway into this green candle. It would have been a much more prominent dark cloud variation candlestick pattern. And a dark cloud candlestick pattern is a sign of a reversal. When we hop into the 30-minute time frame, we're going to look at other levels to see where the price might have to come down to in order to be a full reversal. Now, ultimately, the price of Tesla is in bullish context. It has been moving up for quite some time. And as you can see, these two moving averages, we have the Godfather 50 and 200. They are both spread out, moving upwards on the chart, which ultimately says the context of the chart is bullish. But what's very important to point out is these overextended moves. This right here is false hope. So, for example, the reason why I pointed out all the Robinhood accounts getting in here, it's a very dangerous game to play. And the reason why is you're noticing a bunch of buyers up in here as the price started to move low. So a lot of buyers within this upper wick. You got to understand their psychology right now. They're trapped in here hoping that the price continues to move higher, but yet they're suffering from a current loss. But that's not even the end of it, this wick. The body opened up right here and continued to move more and more down, filling the gap window from earlier today, which is right from there to there, and then continued to move lower into this big candle. This type of candle variation is basically saying there's an abrupt change in market sentiment. So does this mean that Tesla stock is just going to crash to the ground? No, that's not what I'm trying to say, but a retracement could be very, very probable. Me personally, I do not buy in for a long position into Tesla because the stock itself does not make much sense to me. People are saying it's an auto company, but now it's a technology company. It might be added into the S&P 500. You got this and that. Its value is over Toyota, but they only sold 300,000 cars, while Toyota sold 10 million. And then they sell, solar, and they sell this and they sell that. None of it really quite adds up, and it's nothing that I would personally want to put my money into for hoping that the price can go higher and higher. There's a lot of stocks out there that provide much more value to me personally when it comes to investing. So where can we see this price really pull back to? Well, the area that I want to mark out is right here at 1400. That is going to be acting as an area of support. That is no pie in the sky number. If you look at it from this perspective, the price got hung up for a few days right there, and then it blew up right to 1500 and moved higher, and then it really got hung up at 1800. So the levels that we'll be keeping an eye on the daily time frame is going to be $1,800 for the area of resistance, and then 1400 for the level of support. The next area down that I would be paying close attention to would be right here at 1000. That would make for a very interesting area of support for a type of pullback. Things like this, they can't get overextended forever. You need to see some sort of pullback take place. So if you are bullish Tesla stock, you want to look for areas of support that the price can pull back to. You do not want to be one of those traders that got stuck up here on the high with hopes that the price will continue to go higher. Because what typically happens when you see stuff like robinhood traders flooding into stocks like Tesla, especially big cap stocks, is that could be an indicator that they have fear of missing out. This candle, like I said, very bearish. So I wouldn't imagine that tomorrow that the price can hit 1400 and we either bounce from there, or if we crash down eventually and reach down into the 1000. You got to understand there's a couple of windows that need to be filled right down in here. So this 1000, 1100 level would act as an area of support. This area of, call it 1200, would act as support, and then 1300. So those three areas are big areas of support that you'd have to keep an eye on as well. But we'll point that more out on the 30-minute time frame. So let's get into the 30-minute time frame. All right, so we are here on the 30-minute time frame, and the first thing I want to just point out is how bullish the context currently is. You have the 50-period moving average, clearly above the 200-period moving average. Nice spread between the two. It's in bullish context. Obviously, today was a very interesting and bearish type of day. You had a big gap up. It formed a reversal candle right here, which is already a little bit scary. The price continued to move higher for about an hour, but then ultimately got rejected back into the 50-period moving average. Now the price action is pretty much sitting right there at the 50-period moving average. So the next level down is what we mapped out on the daily. It's going to be that 1400 level. Does this mean that if the price pulls down to there, that it's just going to be a flop and crash? No, that's not what it means, because you need to look at the context of the chart. The context, as stated previously, is bullish. And then notice all back throughout the chart, these different gap ups here, here, and here. So those were the windows that we pointed out on the daily. So it wouldn't be that crazy to see a price pull back to 1400 and potentially move higher to eventually pass 1800. That is the technical side of things. From a fundamental perspective, none of this really makes too much sense in my opinion, but from a technical perspective, you need to understand that these lows are technically making new highs. So it's very possible that they hold up and continue to move. Now, if the price does break down through this 1400, that is going to be a level to keep an eye on. But as for now, 1400 is the area of support we can see a pullback to. Like I said, the two last days is very bearish sentiment, and it's also known potentially as a blow-off top. So this might be a potentially blow-off top for the price of Tesla, and we might see the price start heading lower. But let's see what happens in the next few days at 1400 level. Let's see if it holds and go from that standpoint. All right, that is all I have for you on today's technical analysis forecast on Tesla stock. See you later.